In the entire history of video games, from William Higginbottom's Tennis for Two, to Rockstar Games' Table Tennis, to Naughty Dog's The Last of Us Part 2, there are certain games so pivotal that no understanding of games as a medium is complete without their consideration. From Super Mario Bros. To Super Mario Bros. 2 to Super Mario Bros. 3, and as far as I'm concerned, Earthbound is one of these games. Earthbound was the title given to the second game in the Mother series from director Shigesato Itoi. It would have been the name of the Western release of the first game in the Mother series, Mother, had it ever been released in Western markets. But due to the fact that the Super Famicom was right around the corner, and probably also a perception of Western markets as RPG averse, the first Mother game wouldn't see an official Western release until June 2015 on the Wii U's Virtual Console. And so when I was a child, the only Mother game available at my local Funko land was Earthbound. I loved RPGs as a kid. I remember an entire summer as a child spent fighting my mom to stay inside and play Final Fantasy IV, despite the fact that it was quote-unquote a beautiful day outside. Where Final Fantasy allowed me to insert myself into the role of an ancient hero, Earthbound felt like it was meeting me on the terms of my own childhood. It was a game about going to new places and making new friends, and smashing shit with a baseball bat. It wasn't about crystals and knights and ancient prophecies. It was about arcades and cheeseburgers, and contemporary prophecies. But at its core, Earthbound is so much more than this little subversion of RPG tropes. It's a game that effortlessly swings between silly irreverence and cutting sincerity. It's a game where you fight skate punks and sentient mushrooms, but it's also a game where you get stat debuffs if you don't call your mom enough. It's a game where your dad deposits $40 into your bank account so you can afford hamburgers. Despite the constant onslaught of absurdity in Earthbound's world, the things that have stuck with me 25 years after playing it for the first time are these moments of sincerity. Earthbound isn't interested in shielding you from the world's darkness, but it does take great pains to remind you that there is life beyond this darkness, that there is beauty in silliness, and heart and connection. And the fact that these games are so pure of heart, so full of childlike innocence, cuts even deeper in light of their troubled development. Up until the release of the first Mother game, Shigesato Itoi had accomplished many things. He was a famous writer and copywriter in Japan. He'd collaborated on a book with Murakami, and he was the voice of the dad in My Neighbor Totoro. But had he never come to the office of Shigeru Miyamoto and pitched the idea for an RPG set in contemporary times on that fateful day sometime in the late 80s, I probably would have never encountered his work. Except for that one time he was on the Red Pepper episode of Iron Chef, which I definitely still would have seen.
I really feel somehow like a chosen person, being permitted to enjoy this great food. This has opened my eyes.
Despite, and in part because of Shigesato Itoi's writing experience, Shigeru Miyamoto was hesitant to greenlight the project. At the time, an increasing number of companies were embracing celebrity endorsements as a form of marketing, and Miyamoto didn't want the project to be seen as a publicity stunt. But his faith in Itoi's vision for the game clearly overpowered these concerns. Miyamoto's trust was well placed. Itoi's experience as a writer of short, punchy ads and short stories translated well into the small text boxes of RPGs. And the RPG satire RPG Mother 1 sold 400,000 copies in Japan. It was the 6th best-selling game that year behind Dragon Ball 3 Gokuden, SD Gundam World Gachapon Senshi 2, Famista 89 Kaimakuban, Tetris, and Super Mario Bros. 3. Super Mario Bros. 3. Over the next 5 years, Shigesato Itoi would painstakingly develop Mother 2 with a new development team. Despite his experience on Mother 1, the development of Earthbound was beset by difficulties as well. Finding the game's style took almost the entire 5 years of development, and the project was plagued by technical issues. Mother 2 was also repeatedly threatened with cancellation by Nintendo, and we could just as easily be living in a world with no Earthbound, if not for the intervention of the late and great Satoru Iwata. After several years, the codebase for Earthbound had become a tangled mess, and when he joined the development team, Iwata made the difficult decision to gut the codebase and basically start from scratch. It was a tough decision, but it was the right decision, and it may be the only reason that Earthbound ever saw the light of day. And still, after all that effort, Earthbound, the Western release of Mother 2, would go on to see disappointing sales in the United States. Certainly the most visible reason for its failure in the West was an utterly confusing and aggressively 90s ad campaign, whose core slogan was "This game stinks," and jokes about how the game was gross, which is confounding to me because Earthbound isn't even like a gross game. So I feel like the fact that Earthbound was a turn-based RPG with a terrible marketing campaign and kind of an obtuse, very Japanese sense of humor to it was just a perfect storm for the game to kind of not be understood at the time. But you know who understood Earthbound? I did. There was just something about it that captivated me like no other game did at the time. It felt like a game that had both the wisdom of a seasoned story writer and yet the wide-eyed innocence and purity of childhood. And it felt like it blended these two seamlessly. As a kid, it reminded me of my relationship with my grandmother. She never spoke to me like I was like a child. She just spoke to me like I was another person. And I feel like there was a real lack of artifice or role-playing in that relationship. And that's how I felt playing Earthbound as a kid. It felt like this storyteller on the other side of the world who had a completely different life experience than me was speaking to me, a child, in a way that I could fully understand. But it wasn't treating me like a child. It just was presenting itself honestly. And I think this authenticity and sincerity is what makes Earthbound so special. It's the reason that people like me are still talking about this game 25 years after I originally played it. Shigesato Itoi has this idea of reckless wildness in the design of Earthbound that I think sort of perfectly describes the core hallmark signature tone of the Mother series. To quote Jason Schreier, in a gaming landscape stuffed with sci-fi shooters and fantasy adventures, it's almost hard to picture a game that can't be summed up with a nice turn of phrase or genre descriptor, but that's precisely what Earthbound is. You'll fight a sentient puddle of vomit. You'll use an inexplicable device called the pencil eraser to remove inexplicable statues of pencils. You'll suffer through morose hallucinations of your family and friends. You'll meet a man who turned himself into a dungeon. But it's very easy for me to sit here and tell you that Earthbound is one of the greatest games ever made, because I played it for the first time when I was 7 years old, and I had a child's brain. But what would somebody with an adult brain make of this game without the layer of nostalgia over their eyes? Somebody who simultaneously has a seemingly infinite knowledge of the game's industry, and yet is almost totally Earthbound naive. And so I set out to convince Danny O'Dwyer that Earthbound deserves a place at the Noclip Hall of Fame, and the only way I could think to do it was to force him to watch me play the first 30 minutes of the game. So, Danny, in the voiceover immediately preceding this, I have somewhat presumptuously introduced you as someone who knows a lot about video games and almost nothing about Earthbound. Is that an accurate assessment?
I can't speak to the first part of it, but I know absolutely nothing about Earthbound. Anything I've learned from Earthbound has been from having drinks with you after we were filming a documentary and you were just talking about how good Earthbound was.
All right, well, today I'm going to show you how good Earthbound is.
For this show, you kind of have to pick a part of the game that is, representative of why this game is important. And you've decided to go with the start of it. Why is that?
Yeah, it's because I feel like if you don't have the introductory context for what you're doing in this game, I feel like the rest of it doesn't hit as hard. I feel like the setup that you're a kid in kind of small town suburban America and going on this big adventure is necessary context for anything else you do.
Necessary, I get it. Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Earthbound.
We're off to the races already.
Look how big this house is. Jesus.
Yeah, true. This was the 90s. It's like the Simpsons house, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, here,
yeah.
the sound will be very crucial here.
Uh-oh.
Something has happened outside, and we're going to go find out what.
World War III. They're bombing us.
World War III. This is actually a Fallout game. So very important little side detail here. We're going to have to go into our sister's room really quick.
Oh, whoa.
Hey, bro, did the sound wake you up? Were you freaked out? So the reason we're in here is because this present... So presents are the items in this game. There's a cracked bat in here, which we're going to need. So,
Oh, wow.
If you don't get that, there's another opportunity where your mom is like, you should probably go get that cracked bat. You did not explore enough in the introductory phase of the game, and you need items.
Okay,
so this is our
important.
Mom. What was that noise? Ness, you don't seem scared. Are you nuts? And now you want to go check it out? Oh, okay. You sneak out of your room anyway, even if I asked you not to. At least change out of your jammies before you go. I wonder if they have the word jammies in Japanese.
Oh, it just transported you back up there.
Yeah.
That.
Yep. So we got the
I wonder when they were
classic Ness
designing the
outfit.
game, was that a choice they made? Because they were like, oh, it'll be weird if he gets out of his bed and he's fully dressed with his cap on.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. All right, so our very permissive mother is going to let us go.
Yeah.
Besides human, dogs also sleep at night. Why aren't you asleep? So our dog is not going to come with us. He's not very brave. Jeff, the dog, is not very brave.
Yeah. I feel like dogs they're the ones that wake up when there's loud noises outside way more than kids
Yeah,
do,
that's
whatever.
actually a really good point. Okay, so I love the sprites in this game.
That's cool.
This little police car is one of my favorite sprites in this game. So this is a nice little game design, level design setup, is that the most apparent path out of your house, the first place you see is immediately blocked off by cop cars. And this is, after the intro is over, this is the first way you're going to want to go, and it's also where you're going to need to go. So I feel like that's a good little setup right there. Don't panic, it's just a, meteorite that, who fell? I just want to, go home. So this is a lazy cops.
Okay.
On It police or Want It. I call it On It. On It police are infamous for closing roads if something is going on. We're going for the world record.
I think On It is a supplement they used to sell on Joe Rogan's podcast. I'm not even joking. Not even joking.
That's actually true. Yeah, so the towns are named Want It, Twoside, Threed, or Tucson, Threed, and Fourside. So they're
beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, so this guy's just
American streets are named that way. So, like, I find it weird in America. It's like First Street, Second Street. I live in Petaluma, and the other streets are called A through like Z or something. It's
it's not very creative. They're that or historical people.
Yeah.
So this is Picky. This is our neighbor.
Pokey?
No, Pokey is his older brother. This is Picky, the
it.
younger brother. So Pokey, my brother, ran out of here to chase after a police car. He said, Picky, you should stay home. So I'm watching our house. Mom and Dad aren't home yet. They went out to an elegant restaurant.
Ooh, elegant.
That will be important.
So are these all characters that you interact with throughout the rest of the game? Like, does it have this neighborhood feel to it?
So you basically, after the introduction of the game, you almost never have to come back to your little neighborhood here.
Okay.
However, so Picky's older brother Pokey, who was just mentioned, is one of the most crucial characters in the game. So we will meet him in a moment. He is a real piece of shit.
Get your butt home pronto.
Yeah, so the cops they don't really care that you're out here. They just tell you to go home, but they're not going to do anything. A meteorite has landed. The sharks are running wild in town. You kids are wandering around and I'm hungry. I hate my job. So the sharks are, we don't have to talk to every cop or we'll be here all night, but the sharks are like the local street toughs. They're like punks who hang out, and they've taken
like
over the arcade.
Tunnel snakes.
Yes, they're like the tunnel snakes. So they're like a bunch of kind of like 1950s burglar-looking street punks. And going to fight them at the arcade is the first thing you do after the introduction, which is amazing. So we got a little present
fight
here.
them. So you're a child who's going to beat up a bunch of people with a baseball bat. Is that what you're telling me?
Literally true. Yeah, you have to go. I didn't equip the bat, by the way.
So I can see how, like, you as a 7 or 8 year old playing this, like, this is some fantasy fulfillment happening right here. You get to break out of your house at nighttime. You got a dog called Jeff, and you get to beat up teenagers.
Yeah, it's the whole package.
Wow. All right.
Hey Ness, hiya buddy. A meteorite fell down and went boom. It was a real mess for a while. I was fine because I always eat garlic and work out to help make my body stronger. However, the weaker citizens probably fainted. I also want to tell you, whoops, I almost told you about my, by the way, Ness, did you check my billboard? I wrote the message myself. That's my real job, I'm a billboard guy. Why don't you check out my work? All right, let's check out his billboard.
This is
Treasure Hunter.
Really good writing. I like it.
Okay, so Shigesato Itoi, the guy who directed this game and wrote the entire thing, was a copywriter. So he wrote like punchy Japanese advertisements, and that's what he was actually famous for before this game. He also wrote a collection of short stories with Haruki Murakami.
Who is that?
Murakami is like a very famous Japanese author.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to contextualize him other than that. Meteorite looks different than usual. It's strange and marvelous, as well as mysterious. Ooh.
I like that cop. That's a good cop.
Yeah. That's
hey, maybe all cops aren't bastards. Maybe that guy's all right.
That's the one good apple.
That's the one good dude.
All right, so let's see what these dudes are saying. Let's see if we can get into the meteorite. Clear out. Get out of my way. Clear out. Get out of my way. Clear out. Get out of my way. Of my way out. Get out. I meant to say get out of my way. Okay. Nice timing, Ness. Will you do something about Pokey? He's driving me nuts. Are you two friends? Hell no. Absolutely not. If you say yes to that question, you're not a real gamer.
What happens then? Is there much difference? Dialogue slightly different?
I think the dialogue is just slightly different.
Okay.
You're not friends, but aren't you neighbors? Come on, help me out here. All right, let's talk to Pokey. I hate Pokey.
Okay.
Hey, Ness, don't be rubbernecking. You're getting in the cops' the officer's way. You can go home now. Tomorrow, I, Pokey, will tell you more about the strange meteorite. I'm fine here, but you're bugging the officers. All right, so we're going to listen to Pokey, even though I despise his guts, and we're going to go home.
Okay.
Counterintuitively, you would think, like, I got to get past the cops, but right now, you're like a 7-year-old child. Like, what are you going to fight all those cops? That comes you do eventually fight the entire police force of On It. It's not a joke. Yeah. That's in order to leave On It, you have to fight the entire police force and then the police chief.
Oh my goodness.
Which is incredible. And they like respect you after you kick all their asses too. It's awesome.
Wow. Hey, Mom.
It's not necessary to talk about it tonight. It's late. Scoot off to bed now. All right, scoot off to bed.
All right. Go to bed.
So
It was an adventure.
yeah, well, just a normal. See, that's probably the most normal adventure you're gonna have the entire game. Is you just go check out like a local occurrence and go home. All right, later that night. This is such an iconic sound effect. This door knock. You'll hear it.
Yeah, no, I hear it. It's creepy. It's kind of like in the distance. Is it also only on the left channel?
Yeah, it's only in the left channel.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
sure why.
that's why it's kind of freaking me out a little bit.
I did put it on stereo mode. That must be what it did.
Right.
All right, who's knocking at this time of night?
Mom never sleeps. She's always got a glass of wine in her hand.
Yeah, true. All right, it's Pokey. Our
Pokey.
neighbor / arch nemesis to V. Hey, listen to what I've got to say. When I took Picky to the place where the meteorite landed, oh, good evening, ma'am. You're looking lovely as usual, snicker. Anyway, as I was saying, the police that were guarding the meteorite landing left suddenly to deal with the sharks. You know the sharks, they're the local ruffians, and they were really going wild. Suddenly I noticed Picky was gone. I blame the cops. It certainly wasn't my fault at all. When my dad gets back, I know I'm going to get it. That's foreshadowing because Picky's dad is kind of abusive.
Okay.
You're my bestest friend. Won't you help me find Picky? Okay, so you can say no. If you refuse, I'll say something that'll cut you like a knife. Will you come with me? I don't know. I won't say anything to hurt you. Okay, I think that you just end up in a loop if you don't help him.
Okay.
But he threatens you. Like, it's a bad man. All right, you have to say goodbye to your mom before you leave. I know the dog is unreliable, but you should take Jeff along. This is really throwing me off, considering Jeff is one of the canonical characters' names.
Yeah, sorry.
The cracked bat in Tracy's room could help out at a time like this. No matter what anyone says, you're a courageous, strong boy. You're my very own natural-born fighter. You'll go far. Remember to go for it.
Go for it.
But I think you should change your jammies before you leave.
Brilliant.
Love the a lot of little kind of, I wouldn't even call them jokes, but just like
Repeat
little kind of
humor.
like yeah, like it's almost like a reference or something. It's just like shove it in your face, little
There
game
he
design
is.
bits. All right, you go find. I'll follow at a safe distance. Let's get going. All right, so the real adventure's about to begin.
Yeah, I can see how, like, if you grew up, especially like on the SNES, I can see how, like, if you grew up playing Pokemon games, how it feels so much more authored and like
Yes.
has a rich story to it and characters.
Yeah, it has like a real tone to it. Like the Pokemon games, by contrast, feel very neutral in their writing. This feels like it has a lot of character to the writing. So gotta answer the phone before we go. Hello, it's your dad. Work to exhaustion when you're young. Have you ever heard of a weird saying like this? Just remember, I'm always behind you 100%. Don't be afraid. I know that you're brave. You can do it. Don't forget to call me periodically during your adventure. I can make a record of your progress when you call me. Oh yeah, I deposited $30 into your bank account. Do you
Wow.
have your ATM card? So the dad, this is how you save the game, is you call your dad, and depending on how long it's been, he deposits money into your savings account.
Hell,
nice.
yeah.
Which
Thanks,
is
Dad.
it's a very cute kind of like, you know, like when you're a kid, your parents are like, here's like $20 to go see a movie with your friends or something. I really like that touch of it. Okay, so there's enemies now.
Snakes.
So we got snakes. So real RPG is beginning. I was testing the audio recording last night, and I absentmindedly died on this part, and I was very embarrassed, even though nobody was around. So this is the combat. It is pretty, typical kind of like Dragon Quest V era JRPG combat, turn-based. But there's a lot of like weird status effects and stuff. You can get a mushroom on your head that makes you confused, but it also changes the controls of the game, which is infuriating but mechanically interesting.
Are the battles random encounters? Do they like just jump out at you, or do you hit them like Final Fantasy VII style? You're just walking down and suddenly a fight is happening.
It's a very good question. One of the things I always liked about this as a kid is that, see that crow up in the left? So you can
Yeah.
always see the enemies on the overworld, and they'll like run at you when you get close. And if you can sneak up behind them, the thing that just came on the screen will be green, and you get an attack before they turn around and start
Love
fighting. If they sneak up on you, it's the opposite, where they get an advanced attack on you. Okay, so
Take that, spiteful crow.
I need to eat this bread roll or I'm going to die and embarrass myself. So the crow tried to steal something, but we don't have anything. So, I have to kill... So, the spiteful crow, the, like, rambling evil mushroom, what has happened is that all of the normal animals of the world of Eagle Land have turned into, like, weird, deranged monsters and animals. Stuff is already getting messed up in the presence of this new meteorite that has landed.
Right. It's
Okay, so
brought
we-
bad
we love
vibes from out of space.
Yes, the vibes are shot.
Okay.
So we got level up, offense up, maximum PP up. That's your magic points. We realized life up A. Oh yeah, let me now that we have magic, I can show you. Oh, we don't have our big skill yet. We don't have PK gaming yet.
What's PK gaming?
So your favorite thing that we chose in the intro is the name of your major offensive spell.
Wow, so we're going to use the power of gaming against these fucking spiteful crows?
Yes, so the entire game we will be casting PK Gaming. So Pokey, as you'll notice in the fights, is doing nothing. He keeps playing dead and like pretending to be distracted and stuff. He's not helping or hurting.
Oh, okay. So the
doing
game is
anything.
trying to get you to not like him.
Yes.
Because he's just
Absolutely.
not helping at all. Okay.
Yeah, he like wanted you to go ahead and fight for him because he's scared and stuff. So he's not doing anything. He needs you to find his brother. I'm eating all these cookies, by the way, again, so I don't die and embarrass myself.
Why do you only have $20? I thought he gave you 30.
So the $30, you need to go to an ATM to get it.
Oh, got it. So you'll have
Yeah.
50.
I will have $50, which is
$50 for like a kid in 1990X is a lot.
1990X. The economy was very different in 1990X.
Yeah.
Okay. Pokey smiled insincerely.
Are you killing these animals? Like, is this
Yeah.
dog gonna die?
Let's see what it says. It might say fainted at the end, or like I think this is went back to normal.
Oh, that's
Became
good.
tame. Yeah. So I tamed
Perfect.
that dog with my
Okay, so
baseball bat.
You tame the police officers when you beat them up later.
Yeah, you tame them by beating the shit out of them. Okay, so I think this is the last snake we'll have to fight before we get to the big reveal. The meteorite, finally. What it's all been building towards. Okay, I got status effect. In the introduction, I feel like they shouldn't be putting status effects on Ness.
What status effect did you get there?
The coiled snake coiled me up and I was paralyzed
Okay.
for one turn. Also, I love the music in this game. I don't know, it's we're like talking over it obviously, but the music in this entire game is just unbelievably good.
It's tickling your nostalgic. It's all. I can see how this is like a nostalgia fest because the like themes of the game are about being young. And
Yes.
like the world is this beautiful place to explore, full of wonder and dogs to beat up.
Yeah, it's like it's a childhood game about childhood that I played during childhood. You know what I mean? So Picky's up by the meteorite, sleeping behind this tree. We found him. See, Pokey got scared and ran away. So Pokey abandoned his brother is the real story here. Let's go home now. Bet Mom and Dad are worried sick about us. Geez, sometimes I wonder which one of us is the real big brother. So we got Picky. Picky added to the party.
He's in the party.
Picky actually does fight as well, unlike his older brother. Nest, you hear a buzzing around that sounds like a bee flying. Yes. Yes, you can hear it. This is one of the best characters in Earthbound about to be introduced.
The meteorite?
No, better than that.
Is it Pooh?
Even better than Pooh.
Even better than Pooh. Wow, what could be better than Pooh?
A bee I am, not. I'm from 10 years in the future, and in the future all is devastation. Gygas, the universal cosmic destroyer, sent all to the horror of eternal darkness. However, you must listen. Where I am from, there's a well-known legend that has been handed down from ancient times. It says when the chosen boy reaches the point, he will
Oh my
find the
God.
light. Also, listen to this music. I'm getting goosebumps. The passing of time will shatter the nightmare rock and will reveal the path of light. You see, it is my opinion that you were that boy, Ness. This I believe. Gygas' monstrous plan must have been set in motion somewhere on Earth. If you start to confront the enemy immediately, you may have time to counter the evil intentions of Gygas. 3 things are of the utmost importance: wisdom, courage, and friendship. The legends from the ancient times tell of 3 boys and a girl who defeat Gygas. I will tell you more later. Go now, and do not be anxious about the future. You have much work to do, Ness. Did you listen to what I told you? Yes, obviously. Obviously, Buzz Buzz. I would not ignore that epic rant he went on.
His name is Buzz Buzz.
I believe it's Buzz Buzz. You're
Canonically.
exceptional, as I expected you to be.
So wait, that's a bee from the future that tells you that you're Jesus?
That is a Buzz Buzz the bee from 10 years in the future who is
Wow.
incredibly powerful.
I'm just shocked that this bee did this. Maybe this is how bees live longer, because bees only live for like a week, right?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, true. This is Pokey. So he said, seems like you're in a lot of trouble this time. 3 boys, he said? I'm not one of those 3, am I?
Oh, that's great.
Because I'm not into this kind of thing at all. Jeez, my heart is almost pounding out of my chest right now.
they're like, where's the
love
girl? Who's the girl? We got to find a girl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I never really thought about it, but that's actually a good mislead that you have 2 boys in your party with you already, so it could seem like this is almost the entire party.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
So the people we named Canonical Jeff, Pooh, and Paula are the
Yes.
other chosen ones. Yeah, I always kind of liked that they revealed it in the intro for this because there's an intro video when you run the game on the title screen that just plays music and shows them walking around the world. And seeing all the different places and characters was part of the appeal for me as a kid.
Uh-oh.
It's been a long time, Buzz.
Oh my god.
You've been successful at foiling Master Gygas's plans, but Buzz, you must now surrender. You're no longer a hero, but just a useless insect. I'll stomp you hard.
Did this come out before Back to the Future? Because it's very Back to the Future-y. You know what I mean?
It must have come out after. I could see that being an inspiration. So this is Starman Jr. So Starman Jr. is incredibly powerful. We're basically going to do nothing. Buzz is going to do all of the fighting here, essentially.
Oh, right, okay.
Because
are you picking Buzz's moves here?
No. So the only moves I get to pick right now are Ness's. So I did 4 damage. Buzz is going to do like 100. So Starman Jr. is casting spells here that would insta-kill me, Pokey, and Picky, but Buzz is psychically shielding us.
Wow.
So Buzz just critted for 150. Picky, 1 damage. Pokey smiling insincerely. And Ness
okay, so this
damage.
is meant to show you that, like, yo, later in the game, you're going to be fighting this dude, probably. You're going to get this good.
You will fight the Starman Jr. at some point. In fact, there are other Starmen as well. So Buzz shielding us from the Starman Jr. He's probably going to die in like 1 or 2 hits because of that crit. Let's see.
He kind of looks like one of those, what are those little weird guys in Power Rangers called?
Oh, yeah. The putties.
The putties, yeah. Those guys. Kind of looks like one of those.
Yeah, that's a good pull. Okay, so we leveled up again. I love this music, by the way. I don't know why.
It's because you got like you got this like your brain connects it with like getting XP or something.
Yeah, true. It's the power fantasy. I was taking a big chance there. He came from 10 years in the future to kill me, so we can't relax yet. From now on, you'll be fighting enemies sent by Gygas, as well as humans who have evil thoughts.
Wow.
They'll definitely make trouble during your adventure. Animals are also becoming violent due to Gygas's influence over the evil in their minds. It is the truth, so listen. All right, so we got to take Picky and Pokey home before we can set out on our adventure here. So this is Picky and Pokey's parents are absolutely incredible.
Oh
Look
my
at the
god,
mom.
her face.
Look at the mom. She has like clown makeup. Where in Sam Hill have you boys been?
Where in Sam Hill?
I'll have to think of a suitable punishment. And this is the dad who is
oh my god, the Monopoly man.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm sorry that my kids troubled you so much. Both of you are really going to get it now. Okay, listen to the audio here.
Oh no, does he smack them?
He goes upstairs and beats his children.
Hell yeah.
Based.
I mean, not hell yeah. I don't beat my child, but I used to get the wooden spoon.
Oh my god. By the way, I'd be happy if you left sometime soon. I'm tired of your family living next door.
Oh my god.
We've loaned your father a lot of money. It may have been $100,000 or more. Well, I guess it really could have been less, but because of the loan, my family and I now live in poverty.
What?
My husband is much too lenient with the children. Oh well, nice guys finish last. That's the story of our life.
Oh, that's great. This is really well localized.
Yes, the localization is famously like one of the best things about this game, or about the Western release of it.
Right.
Oh, this is the mom. I think it's a dung beetle. I'll smash her guts out.
Don't you kill my future She didn't kill it, did she?
She smacked Buzz. She killed Buzz. Ugh, gasp. I was much weaker than I thought. So now you must begin your adventure. See you.
Is he dead?
Oh, I just remembered.
Oh.
Listen to my final words. To defeat Gygas, your own power must unite with the Earth's. The Earth will then channel your power and multiply it. There are 8 points that you must visit. Make these places your own. Each of these locations is your sanctuary. One of them is near on it. It's called Giant Step. Go there first. Do you understand? Yes, Buzz. I would
so
never
as a
waste
kid,
your precious
are you
breath.
like writing this shit down? Because you're like, this is like secret knowledge I'm being shared.
It definitely reiterates it enough times that you would get it. Also, you can ask Buzz to repeat his dying monologue, which is very funny.
So is he just in your pocket dying for the rest of the game, or?
No, he dies here. This is it.
Wow, okay.
You're a very intelligent young man, and oh, the pain. Everything is getting dark. Erg, gasp. Before I pass on, I want to give you something. Is the Sound Stone. You can record the melodies from the 8 of your sanctuary locations into this stone. It is an awesome item. By the way, I'm almost gone, but did you want to hear this story one more time? Good. It's already dawn outside, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm fading fast.
Oh my god.
Arg, gasp. Got a Sound Stone.
Wow.
And that's it. Buzz Buzz is dead.
I guess he was too OP to come along.
Yeah.
You know?
True. So we can go talk to Picky's family and whatever, but the most iconic moment and where we will conclude this play segment is right outside. This is one of my favorite childhood memories of gaming, is this happening right here.
Ooh.
And just like
that's
that.
good. That's
And
good.
it's the original Breath of the Wild coming out of the cave moment. So that's the intro to Earthbound. What do you think, bud?
Pretty great. Can we play a little bit more, maybe?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? And we did keep playing for another 20 minutes or so. And in that moment, there was no doubt in my mind that Earthbound had all but secured its place in the hallowed halls of the Noclip Hall of Fame. Dedicated to keeping the fires of gaming ever burning, to keeping the knowledge of great video games from being lost to the sands of time. And Earthbound is a game which must never be forgotten. Just the other day, I completed Earthbound for the first time since I was 7 years old. And beyond the nostalgia, beyond cherished childhood memories, Earthbound is still one of the greatest stories ever told in games. It's one of the most singularly sincere and authentic pieces of media that I've ever experienced in my life. And it is my deepest hope that this video has radicalized you into the type of person who says to every person that they meet, "Oh man, you haven't played Earthbound? Oh, come on, dude, you gotta play Earthbound. The story is so good, and the characters are just like, it's so hard." Oh, he can,
Oh,
we're
no.
done.
Oh, and he also got you from behind.
Almost certainly going to die.
Oh, no.
I went too close to the arcade. Oh god, it's over. If this guy, I just died. Ness got hurt in class. Ness got hurt in class. As a child was just beaten to death by street punks.
On the doors of City Hall. On the steps of City Hall, no less.
In the threshold of the door to
Yes.
City Hall. A child was
Wow.
beaten to... That's how bad the crime problem is and on it.